You ever buy a truck because the numbers on the window sticker looked clean, then 5 years later realize the numbers that actually mattered were hiding in your receipts? That's Ford's EcoBoost versus V8 in a nutshell. They sold you a story about twin turbos giving you V8 torque with V6 fuel economy. They leaned on lab cycles and glossy charts. But in the real world, when you tow, when you climb grades, when you sit in traffic with the AC blasting, the 5-year math is brutal. Today I'm going to show you exactly where the money goes, why the EcoBoost's efficiency evaporates, and how the old-school V8 ends up looking like the grown-up in the room. Let's set the battlefield. Two F-150s, same cab, same bed, similar gearing. One's running the 3.5 EcoBoost, the other's a Coyote Phi 8. Ford's pitch: EcoBoost gives you more torque sooner and better MPG overall, especially when driven normally. Translation: light throttle, flat ground, no trailer. But you didn't buy a truck to drive like a rental Corolla. You bought it to haul, tow, pass, and live. That's where the truth shows up, on your bank statement. First punch: fuel. Ford's marketing leans on EPA combined numbers, but combined is just a weighted average of stop and go and steady highway. Real owners report the EcoBoost swinging anywhere from 15 to 20 miles per gallon depending on how often the turbos wake up. The V8? It's boring. Call it 15 to 17 and it stays there. You know what to expect. On paper, the EcoBoost wins by a mile. In your life, it wins on Monday, loses Tuesday through Friday, and gets choked out on the weekend when you hook a trailer. Now watch what Boost does to your wallet. Turbos are air pumps. Anytime you lean on the throttle, the turbos cram more oxygen into the cylinders, and the ECU must feed more fuel to keep the mixture safe. That surge of torque you love? It's the same surge that drains your tank. So, the behavior that makes the EcoBoost feel great is the behavior that kills its advantage. The V8 is a plotter, less sensitive to your right foot, less dramatic swings in consumption. Predictability becomes value, and that value shows up over 5 years. Let's run a simple 5-year model at 15,000 miles per year. Scenario A: mixed commuting with weekend projects. EcoBoost averages 17 miles per gallon real world. V8 averages 16. Fuel at $3.80. EcoBoost burns approximately 882 gallons a year, $3,352. V8 burns approximately 938 gallons, $3,564. That looks like a $212 annual win for EcoBoost, about $1,060 over 5 years. Not bad, until you drive like an actual truck owner. Scenario B: you tow 5,000 to 7,500 pounds 6 times a year and haul loads monthly. EcoBoost averages 14 miles per gallon. V8 holds 15. Now EcoBoost burns 1,071 gallons, $4,071, versus V8's 1,000 gallons, $3,800. EcoBoost loses by $271 a year, $1,355 over 5. The efficiency engine just cost you more in fuel than the V8. That's the moment the sales pitch falls apart. But fuel is only round 1. Round 2 is maintenance and wear. The EcoBoost has 2 turbos, intercooler plumbing, extra heat management, more sensors, and more vacuum lines. More parts means more failure points. You can baby it and still face wastegate rattle, charge pipe leaks, carbon buildup on valves, PCV fumes oiling the intake, and intercooler condensation robbing you of power on humid days. None of those are every truck events, but they're common enough to be a real cost center. The V8? It's not perfect. Timing chains stretch when neglected. Cam phasers can be drama if the oil goes long. But it's simpler. And in trucks, simpler is cheaper in the long run. Let's be generous and set scheduled maintenance equal. Oil, filters, plugs, fluids, call it a wash at $350 a year for both when done right. Now add common unscheduleds over 5 years. EcoBoost: 1 charge pipe and clamps, $300. 1 set of high heat coil packs, $250. Walnut blast for valve cleanup if you chase a misfire, $450. Miscellaneous boost leak diagnosis, $200. That's $1,200 before we talk about the big one, a turbo replacement if you're unlucky, which can nuke a $2,000 to $3,000 hole in your budget. You won't see every one of these, but the point is clear. The EcoBoost's upside relies on perfect conditions. Its downside is a pile of parts the V8 never had. There's also the hidden tax of driving style. The EcoBoost teaches you to feather the throttle to keep the turbos asleep. That's exhausting, and it's not why you bought a 400 horsepower truck. With the V8, you drive it, it drinks about what it always drinks, and you go on with your life. Consistency is a financial advantage because it lets you budget. Spiky consumption punishes you when you least expect it. Road trips, headwinds, elevation, heat. Those are the days the EcoBoost returns numbers that make you stare at the pump like it insulted your family. Towing is where the story turns into a confession. EcoBoost torque is addictive off the line and feels heroic on on-ramps, but hold 70 miles per hour into a light headwind with 6,000 pounds behind you and watch your instantaneous miles per gallon fall to single digits while the turbos howl. Owners post receipts of 8 to 10 miles per gallon towing modest campers, right alongside V8 owners posting 10 to 12 miles per gallon doing the same run. 2 miles per gallon doesn't sound like much until you stretch it across 5 years of summer trips. Run 4,000 towing miles a year at a 2 miles per gallon delta, and you're buying an extra 111 gallons annually. At $4, that's $444 a year, $2,220 over 5. Burned strictly because Boost doesn't care about your spreadsheet. Then there's heat. Heat is the enemy of everything mechanical. Turbos live on the hot side. They cook oil, they stress gaskets, and they turn routine maintenance into heat management if you tow in the summer. The V8 runs warm too, but without the thermal choke points of turbo-bearing housings and red-hot turbine housings snuggled against everything else. Over 5 years, this is the difference between I change oil early and it just runs, and I change oil early and I hope the turbos are happy. Let's talk resale, the final silent column in the 5-year math. Buyers read forums. They've heard about condensation in intercoolers, misfire hunts that end in walnut blasting, and the hit-or-miss reality of long-term boosted gas engines in trucks. A clean, well-maintained EcoBoost sells, but buyers haggle harder, and lenders know these trucks can be expensive to sort if neglected. The V8? Boring sells. Simpler sells. If market conditions are equal, the V8 typically eats less depreciation percentage-wise because it attracts second owners who value longevity over novelty. Even a 2-point spread in retained value on a $45,000 truck is $900, money you only notice when you trade keys. Now add it up with conservative numbers. 5 years, 75,000 miles. EcoBoost best case fuel savings from scenario A, $1,060. Unscheduled maintenance cushion, budget $1,200, assuming no turbo. Towing penalty if you do real truck things, subtract $1,355. Resale delta, minus $900. Net, negative $2,395 versus the V8. If you're a light-duty commuter who never tows and you truly keep the turbos asleep, you might win a small amount. If you use the truck like a truck, the V8 quietly wins by not surprising you. And that's the heart of the betrayal. Ford didn't lie with numbers. They lied with framing. They showed a world where trucks cruise a dyno cycle, shift gently, and never see a trailer. They told you the EcoBoost could be everything to everyone. It can be amazing when conditions match the brochure. But the average owner doesn't live in a brochure. He lives at 2,200 revolutions per minute into a headwind with stuff in the bed on a day when he's late. He floors it to merge, and the turbos wake up like a golden retriever at dinner time. Efficiency ends right there. What about reliability reputations? The internet loves extremes. EcoBoosts are bulletproof, or EcoBoosts are hand grenades. Reality is in the middle. Most survive and do great, some don't. The V8 has had its own dramas, cam phasers, timing chain guides, but when you look at shop floors and parts shelves, the number of unique failure modes on a twin-turbo gas V6 simply outnumbers the V8's. That's not doomsday, that's probability. Probability is what 5-year math is made of. There's also the premium fuel angle. Plenty of EcoBoost owners run 87. Plenty run 91 for towing season or hot climates because the engine pulls timing on regular, killing performance and sometimes MPG. If you're the guy who buys premium half the year, that's 40 to 60 cents a gallon that your V8 neighbor doesn't always spend. Across 5,000 gallons in 5 years, that's another $2,000 to $3,000 that quietly leaks out of your wallet in pursuit of the smart option. Let's flip the script and give the EcoBoost its due. It's a joy to drive unladen. It makes cities smaller and on-ramps shorter. It can return excellent numbers on steady highway with a disciplined right foot. If your life is suburban runs, light payloads, and road trips across flat states, the EcoBoost can absolutely win your 5-year math because you're giving it the environment it was optimized for. But if your life is variable, hills, trailers, weather, projects, the EcoBoost turns your fuel budget into a mood ring. Here's the part the salesman won't say out loud. Consistency is a feature. The V8's predictability is the reason construction fleets and rural owners keep buying them. It's not just sound and feel, it's the fact that every month looks like last month, and every bill lands about where you expected. When your truck is a tool, stability is king. When your truck is a toy, the EcoBoost is a blast. Most of us need both. The toy on Friday, the tool on Monday. Over 5 years, the tool side wins the accounting. So, what do you do if you already bought the EcoBoost? You get smart. Shorten oil intervals. Keep an eye on the intercooler and charge pipes. Log your fuel and stop pretending the EPA number is your number. Learn to modulate throttle on grades to keep boost reasonable. If you tow often, run the octane the engine wants in summer heat and don't cheap out on fluids. If you own the V8, change oil, ignore hype, and enjoy the fact that beige can be beautiful when you open Excel. If you're shopping, the decision is simple once you're honest about your life. If you tow or haul regularly, if you live in hills, if you value predictable bills and smoother resale, the V8 quietly saves you. If you chase that effortless torquey hit and your miles are mostly empty and steady, the EcoBoost can make you smile and still be sensible. But do not buy it because a brochure told you it's more efficient. Buy it because your driving matches its strengths. If it doesn't, the 5-year math will make you sick. One last thing nobody talks about: headroom. Engines with headroom live longer. The V8 isn't stressed to make truck-grade torque. It's naturally making it by displacement. The EcoBoost is brilliant engineering using pressure to mimic cubic inches. It works until heat, age, and maintenance variability stack up. Over 5 years, headroom is the difference between still feels like new and why does this feel tired at 85,000 miles? You were promised V8 power with V6 economy. What you got was V8 bills with V6 volatility. That's the lie. Not a number on a sticker, but the idea that your life fits the test cycle. The truth is in your receipts. Fuel that swings with weather and traffic. Parts that cost more because there are more of them. Resale that pays a trust tax because the internet remembers. And when you stack those columns next to each other, fuel, maintenance, repairs, depreciation, the V8 wins more often than it loses, not because it's special, but because it's simple. Drop your 5-year math below. Real miles per gallon, towing numbers, repair invoices, resale offers. EcoBoost owners who love it. Tell us where and how you drive. V8 owners who switched. Tell us why. The comments on this topic are always the same. People don't argue with the math when it's their own. They argue with the story they were sold. The story said, EcoBoost is the smarter buy. The truth says the smarter buy is the one that matches your life, not the brochure. And if your life looks like most truck owners' lives, the V8's boring, steady heartbeat will quietly save you thousands, while the twin turbos sing a song you pay extra to hear. 5 years from now, you'll look back and either brag about how little your truck costs to run, or you'll tell new buyers to learn from your bill pile. Either way, the lesson is simple. Don't let marketing write your budget. Let your math do it. And your math doesn't live in a lab. It lives at the pump, at the parts counter, and at trade-in time. That's where the war is fought and where the V8 keeps winning.